guys, welcome back to some more Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. So now we can get inside
Holmes,
here.
Will you explain the reason and rhyme behind this masquerade?
Elementary. We shall conduct an experiment that will allow us to answer a simple question. Does the type of weapon used by the killer correspond to a specific profession?
This is so gross and dirty. Okay. Oh, there's flies everywhere.
And here are our sow's heads. Congratulations, Watson.
You're welcome, Holmes, but what do you really want to do? Take up a collection?
Okay, what do we have to do here? I gotta sneeze.
There is nothing further to find in this room, Watson. However, I need some knives. Our only hope is behind this door. I need something.
Okay.
There, this door is slightly raised.
Good job.
There is nothing further to find.
Okay. How do you... Ha.
There is nothing further
What?
to find in this. I need something.
Oh,
Elementary.
awesome.
While I prepare our experiment, could you find me 2 knives? A small one, somewhat larger than a pocket knife, with a large, sharp blade. We'll need it to separate the bones and to cut through the thick skins. Then find me a long knife that's at least 13 inches long, no shorter, that's sharp and has a thick blade.
Fine, Holmes, but I'd like to tell you about Hardiman. Do you know that he prepares his kebabs himself, and...
That he owns butcher's tools and uses offal? That's obvious, Watson. Pray, take my magnifying glass and my rule and get started, Watson. Find me these 2 knives.
I thought it might have been him. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so he wants
with
one
the
that's
rule,
at least...
I must find a large...
At least 13 inches. Does he mean like from start to finish? Okay, and then the other one he wanted a small one with a large blade. No.
No, Holmes only needs 2 knives.
Holmes only needs 2 knives. Put this one back. I think it's this one. Okay.
Here are the knives you asked for. Be careful, they're awfully sharp. Holmes, I must say that this experiment is making me rather uneasy, comparing animal heads to these poor women.
You're right, Watson, but this somewhat shocking experiment may help to end this massacre and save other victims. You can be sure of that. Look, these pigs' heads are still bloody, which will suit our experiment perfectly. I have a pocket knife and a scalpel with me. With the 2 knives you just brought me, we have a similar array of weapons as those probably used by the killer. We saw 3 types of throat wounds on the deceased attributed to this man. Those intended to slit the throat, those intended to decapitate, and the more superficial yet mortal wound that led to the death of the unfortunate victim in Dutfield's yard, Miss Stride. With the help of these 4 knives, we are going to try to recreate these wounds on the pigs' heads and see what we can establish about the weapon or weapons used. We may also be able to rule out Miss Stride as a victim of the killer of the other 3.
Okay. Okay, so experiment 1.
Let's try to use these weapons on this head to obtain a large deep wound to the throat, like those that were noted on 3 of the 4 victims.
How does this work? No. Oh.
This little knife is very sharp and has a very wide blade. This pocket knife is very sharp, but its blade is too thin.
So this one seems viable. No, that's too thin.
The wound is too shallow. Look, Watson, this knife easily penetrates the flesh. Elementary.
Okay. back and try this one.
Let's try to decapitate our victim with these tools, knowing that the killer didn't quite manage to do it.
Charming.
Okay, well, obviously this one.
This knife with a long blade easily slices the flesh, but cannot dislocate the vertebrae.
Ew.
Look, Watson, this little knife with a wide base can easily slice the vertebrae of our porcine friend.
No.
The blade of this pocket knife is too...
So, could it just be that one then? Hello? Oh my god. Don't crash.
With a scalpel, the wound is too shallow.
So there's just this one then, isn't it? Oh my god, why am I lagging?
Look, Watson, this little knife...
Hold on a minute, guys. Sorry about that, guys. The game was like just about to crash. I had to like exit to be able to save and everything. Okay.
Let's try to decapitate...
Charming.
So this one here we were at, okay, so it's the knives that we can't do it
Elementary.
with. Okay, here we go. That makes sense. Okay, now experiment
Let's
3.
see if these knives can inflict a mortal wound in a situation where a single quick blow is given. The scenario in question is that of Dutfield's yard. Look, Watson, the blade sinks easily into the flesh. In using the cutting edge of this pocket knife's blade, I can scrape the skin. This particularly
Oops.
sharp blade can make a deep gash with one quick slice.
Okay, and of course this one.
It cuts through the flesh easily as the blade is so sharp.
So it's this one, this one, this one.
Elementary.
Okay, so we definitely know this one here.
That's it, Watson, the big knife. With respect to the opinion of the medical examiners who noted that a butcher's knife with a long blade would have caused the eviscerations on some of the victims, we can assume, Watson, that he only used this type of weapon as it is capable of inflicting all of the wounds displayed. Furthermore, the Dutfield's Yard murder remains attributable, for the moment, to the Whitechapel killer, if we are able to explain why the murderer used his knife in a different manner. Why not go there now? We will try to reenact the killer's actions that night. Our first objective will be to clarify, one way or another, the statements of Constable Smith, as well as this Hungarian by the name of Schwartz. We must also try to find out more about the
Schwartz.
International Working Men's Educational Club, underneath which the murder took place, perhaps at the Wasp's Nest.
Yes, let's go to Dutfield's Yard or wherever, but quickly. I am in urgent need
did
of
you see
fresh
Schwartz's
air.
eyes? Were they like looking in different
Let's go
directions?
to the Wasp's Nest.
Map. Do.
Don't forget that Bluto may still be hiding here. I will try to find out more inside. You, Watson, must intercept the policeman on his rounds. Given the hour and a bit of luck, it will be Smith. Try to get some information from him.
Understood, Holmes.
Okay. You. Come closer.
A draft, my good man.
He was like, okay.
Here, sir.
Tell
Squibby.
me, was it not a mere stone's throw away from here that the Whitechapel killer struck last week?
That'd be Jack the Ripper, that's his name. Slit the throat of a working girl in a small courtyard over there behind them big wooden doors.
Below the Workers' Club?
The very spot, below Lipsky and Co. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was one of them, if you catch my drift.
Lipsky and Company. Do you mean to say that someone called Lipsky runs this club?
Nah, it's just that it's full of Jews. In Whitechapel, we call them all Lipskys, like that Lipsky who killed that girl in Batty Street last year.
Oh, really?
Last year, a Jew named Israel Lipsky killed a lass who was 6 months pregnant by making her drink acid. One
What?
trial and one protest by rabbis later, and he was hanging. By those who don't much like him, the Jews are called Lipskys.
Is the term Lipskis used to refer to the Jews in the area, and is this club frequented by Jews?
You got it. Socialist Jews even. They spend their evenings hollering, singing. I've seen them spitting on the bosses.
And you know the victim?
No more her than any other. The working girls don't drum up business too much in this street. They need a reason to end up here.
And you know
Oops.
the victim? Very well. Goodbye.
Cheers.
That was very creepy. Cheers. You there.
Hello.
I know you. You're Squibby's guardian angel. You weren't dressed the same last time, but I don't forget a face. No hard feelings, huh? Join me in a glass?
Your Jack the Ripper is on everyone's lips and written in all of the papers. You must be awfully proud of yourself. You have skill, that's for certain. It's a shame you use it to mask rather than discover the truth.
You better believe that I'm going to find out who it is. I got a hold of old Schwartz's interpreter. You know, the Hungarian who saw Liz Stride get it. Doesn't speak a word of English. And when he went round to the station, another Jew went along to interpret. I found that bloke, and he repeated everything that had been said at the station. It won't be long before I find these fellows.
Why do you say these fellows? Were there several of them?
Do you not read the papers, or what? Well, given the rubbish that you read sometimes. Let me explain. At 12:45 a.m., Schwartz goes down Burner Street towards Fairclough, on the side of the road where the Workers' Club is. A bit further from there, just near Dutfield Yard's wooden doors, a chap and a lady are arguing. The Star said that the bloke wanted to push the girl into Dutfield's yard, but the translator told me that Schwartz saw him pulling her towards the road. She doesn't want to follow. He grabs her by the shoulders and throws her to the ground. She falls. Falls a bit, but not too loudly. Old Schwartz is scared, crosses to the other side, but continues in the same direction. The bloke with the girl notices him and yells, "Lipsky!" At the same time, another bloke at the corner of Fairclough and Burner who was lighting his pipe gets in on the action. He starts coming towards Schwartz in a menacing way, and Schwartz takes to his heels, doesn't see anything else. Once he finds out that a woman got herself killed, he went to testify, and identified Long Liz Stride as the woman he saw getting thrown about. So there were definitely two blokes, mate. But why am I telling you all this?
In vino
'Cause-
veritas. I'll take my leave then, Mr. Bulling.
That's right. Till next time.
First and foremost, I must find P.C. Smith.
Are you him?
Good evening, Constable.
Good evening, sir.
I am Dr. Watson. Would you happen to be P.C. Smith, the man who patrols this beat?
That's me. And you work with the famous Sherlock Holmes, don't you? What can I do for you?
I believe you were on duty the night when the murder took place here. You would certainly be able to confirm a few details, such as the time of death that the medical examiner gave.
It's just that I wasn't there when the body was discovered. I don't think I can help you.
But I was told that you had seen the victim that very night.
Indeed. But it was before the murder. I saw her, not far from here. She was talking to a man. It was around 12:30 or 12:35 a.m.
Oh, I'm just writing this down. A man?
What did this man look like?
I only saw him from behind, really. He was wearing a short black outfit, a small felt hat like a cap in a dark colour, and a white collar. He seemed to be a respectable type. He was carrying a packet in his hand wrapped in newspaper, about 18 inches long and about 6 inches wide.
His outfit reminds me of someone that I know. Was he a large man, on the older side?
I don't think so, no. Even though I only saw him from behind, I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28, or even less. 26 years old, and 5 foot 8 inches tall at the very most. He had a small dark brown moustache and an olive complexion, I would say, but once again, I only caught a brief glimpse of his face in three-quarter profile.
Nobody else saw this man?
I discussed this previously with Mr. Eagle, the president of the Workers' Club. That night he returned around 12:40 a.m. to the club. He used the passage through Dutfield's yard to get into the club because the main door was locked. He can attest that he didn't see anyone else in the passage at that time, but wasn't really paying attention to who else might have been in Burner Street itself. He was listening to the song coming from the club. In short, no one else saw him.
Well, thank you for having satisfied my curiosity, my friend.
A fine evening to you, Doctor.
Okay. I know, Lizzie. Yay.
Well, Watson, let's go to Dutfield's yard.
Where's that? Should be...
Dutfield's
yeah.
yard.
Okay. Oh, we can like just go in
Your
here?
interrogation of P.C. Smith has proven to be very shrewd and of great interest. Thanks to the information I've managed to gather and that you were able to read in my notes in Baker Street, Watson, we can recreate what happened that fateful night at this location. Dutfield's Yards, to be precise, the site of Liz Stride's murder.
Okay. Okay, midnight club meeting. Okay, here.
Midnight, the Socialist Club meeting ends. The members, mainly Jewish men, gradually begin to leave the club in little groups or alone. 12:20 a.m. The American leaves the Socialists Club for some fresh air. The street is deserted.
12:30. Yep.
12:30 to 12:35 a.m. Smith notices Liz Stride talking to the man with the package.
Just why I'm doing this is to tell you like the times and everything.
12:40 a.m. Eagle, the president of the club, enters the workers' club via the passageway through Dutfield's yard. He passed through Dutfield's yard. If Liz Stride had already been killed, he would have had to walk over her. The murder, therefore, had not yet happened. 12:43 a.m. Israel Swartz passes by Dutfield's yard and witnesses the attack on Liz Stride. 12:44 a.m. Schwartz crosses to the other side of the road. The attacker sees him and yells, "Lipsky." The attacker
minute
must
for him to
have
cross the
shouted to
road.
his accomplice at the end of the road, "Lipsky," indicating at Schwartz using his head in an attempt to scare off this undesirable. 12:45 a.m. Schwartz runs away, followed for a short distance by this man. 1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz wants to enter with his cart, but the pony refuses. We know that the murder took place between 12:45 and 1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz, therefore, must have disturbed the killer. Let's place Liz Stride's murder on the timeline, Watson.
So would it have to been between
12:45 to 1 a.m., the murder of Liz Stride. It took place in this very spot, as the traces of blood were very confined. We will come back to this point in a few moments to elaborate on what could have happened. Well, we are still missing certain information in order to finish this investigation, Watson. This door leads to the club for Jewish socialist workers.
Oh, it's right there. I'm gonna leave it here for now, guys, but look forward to some more. Thanks for watching.